Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Good, and you?
Good. You can hear me good?
Yeah, you're good.
Nice.
Hey, so thank you for taking the time to join us. What's been going on with your life right now? How's training camp going?
All right, great, man. Yeah, just chilling, man. Just getting ready for May 9th. I've had a long training camp. I've been training for like 3 or 4 months now,
Hmm.
getting ready for this. I've known about this fight for a long time. Obviously with the pandemic and the things happening in the last, month or two, it honestly hasn't changed my training much. It's just limited my training partners a little bit, but I'm still getting in the work. Fortunately for me, American Top Team, my gym has been open the whole time,
Hmm.
for professional athletes. They close it to the public, but since I had a fight coming up, they kept the doors open. So yeah, man, I'm ready to shine May 9th.
Awesome, man. And I just wanted to ask, how do you feel about Bryce Mitchell as an opponent? Like, do you see any weaknesses? And like, what's your prediction for the fight?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bryce Mitchell is a super tough, talented prospect coming into the UFC. He's 12-0, 3-0 in the UFC, coming off submission of the year. So I think he's one of the toughest guys in the division. And he's one of the best prospects in the division, and that's the guys I want to fight. I want to fight the best guys because I want to be the best guy, and
Hmm.
that's where I'm at. I think he has a lot of skills and he has a lot of talent, but he has a lot of holes in his game too. I mean, he's never fought anybody like me. He hasn't fought a real dog yet in a fight. I mean, all of his fights are kind of he's fought guys that, I mean, he pretty much should have beat, but he's never fought someone like me. He's never fought someone that's going to bring it to him. And, he's going to be in a dogfight. We're going to find out what he's made of May 9th.
Hmm. How do you feel about taking the fight on May 9th? Are you kind of worried that the fight might not happen? Or because we saw the plug pulled on UFC 249 earlier this month. So are you
Yeah.
just worried at all for that fight?
Yeah, it's something that comes up, but it doesn't change what I do, from my standpoint of training. Like, I got to do what I got to do, train hard, be ready. So when the fight happens, that I'm ready and I don't have any excuses. Like, the only thing that's worse than getting the COVID or, whatever is going into the fight unprepared. So that's one thing that I can control is going into the fight, prepared and ready to fight. And the things that I can't control, I'm just gonna leave them up. It definitely kind of sucks though, because when you're dieting, you're like, oh, am I doing all this diet and all this stuff for nothing? But
Hmm.
everything I'm doing is gonna pay off one way or another. Just hopefully the fight happens.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the UFC like pushing on to keep the fights happening? Because they have three events in 8 days. That's a crazy schedule. How do
Yeah,
you feel about all the chaos that's going on?
yeah. I mean, I love to see them pushing through and fighting for what fighting for work, trying to get the economy, trying to get everything back to normal. I mean, I think this pandemic was a serious thing, but at this point, I just feel like enough is enough. It has to, we got to get back to normal life and things. As long as professionals are saying it's safe, which they are. I had a conference call with Dana White
Hmm.
2 days ago, and he assured us that everybody was going to be safe, everything was getting better, and things are just going to be up and up from here. And he said that he got that information from the top from Donald Trump. He said he just got off the phone with him
Wow.
and assured him that everything is in good hands. So it was pretty cool to hear it directly from the source, from the people that are in charge, people that are running the country, and the people that actually have the
Hmm.
facts. So, I mean, that's what I'm going to believe because that's what I was told. So I'm going in there ready to
Hmm.
fight.
Yeah, and I saw back to Bryce. I saw an article in which you said that you're gonna like break one of his limbs off, and
Yeah.
Bryce had something to say about that. He said
Yeah.
that I ripped my nuts in half and almost lost my wiener. You think I'm worried about a limb? Like, how do you react to that?
Yeah, I mean, well, his arm's gonna hurt pretty bad when I rip it off too. So I don't know. I
Oh
don't know how
gosh.
that felt because I never experienced it, but I can imagine. I have seven armbar finishes in my professional career, and it's one of those things. Guys say, "Oh, I'm gonna knock this guy out. I'm gonna knock that out," and he took a lot of offense to it. It said, I was on an interview. The way it came up, and they said, "Hey, if this fight goes to the ground, what do you expect to happen? Like, do you expect that you're gonna be better than him? Do you think he's better than you on the ground? What do you think?" Because he's a highly regarded jiu-jitsu guy. I go, well, if the fight hits the ground, it's going to the same thing that happens to all my other opponents. I'm going to break his arm. So, that was the headline for the article, and it is what it is. And then they asked him about it in an interview, and, he got pretty upset. Said, oh, he's going to break my arm. But, I mean, what are we doing out there? We're fighting. So it's
Hmm.
like, that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to go out there. I'm going to try to take his head off on the feet, and I'm going to try to rip his limbs off on the ground. And if he's able to survive on the feet and he goes down, then I'm going for, I'm going for his throat. I'm going for one of his limbs until the fight's over. So that's the way I fight. I mean, I go in there, do or die. I go in there, expecting to put my life in the line. I mean, that's what I do every time. So that's what you're going to get May 9th. It's going to be a good scrap.
Nice, man. And what are the odds of you getting a twister on Bryce Mitchell? Because he got the submission of the year last year. I would
So
really like to see you try a twister on him, man.
hey, if I was a betting man and I got some good odds in that, I would take that bet. I mean, that's a move that I know very well. I've been hitting it, in training and stuff. So,
Hmm.
obviously, I was working the defense, but then once I started learning the defense to it, I learned that the offense was actually just as good as my defense now. So
Hmm.
this is stuff that I've been practicing. I got my coach, Charles Chainsaw McCarthy. He's a amazing black belt jiu-jitsu practitioner. I got my black belt under him. So man, this guy, he fought, he fought in the UFC. He's a UFC veteran, so he's a legend of a jiu-jitsu coach. And
Hmm.
man, we've been working this stuff. So this is stuff we've been working for months now. So we're gonna be ready to go in there and shine. And man, if I get him in that position, you better believe that I'm gonna take it.
Hmm. And looking at your division right now, like, is there any specific names that you maybe want to call out after the fight, or are you putting all of your focus on Bryce right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely focused on Bryce, but I mean, I want to move up. They've been feeding me prospects since I started training, and I've been beating the best prospects in the world. And I think it's time that I get a top guy. Definitely a guy that I've always wanted to fight. That I used to love watching fight is a Korean Zombie.
Oh
He's
yeah.
the guy that goes in there and he always puts on a performance. You never
Hmm.
see him in a bad fight, and it's the same thing with me. You've never seen me in a bad fight. You go and watch all my UFC fights, all six of them.
Hmm.
You're gonna see that every single one was, either fight of the night candidate or was fight of the night. Any one of my losses in the UFC were all fight of the night. So, I always go out there and perform. They're all, amazing fights. And he's one of those guys that always shows up too. So, I fought a close fight to Yair Rodriguez. I lost a split decision to him in Mexico, and it was a fight that I thought I won. I feel like if it wasn't in Mexico, I would have got the nod for
Hmm.
sure. But, that's the way the game goes. You got to put these guys away if you want to guarantee that you're going to get the win. And then, Yair came out and he knocked out Korean Zombie. So, I think that would be a
Yeah.
good stepping stone for me to get to the top five, top guys in the division and eventual world title.
And looking at the top of the heap, who do you think gets the next title shot against Volkanovski?
Man, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a lot to do with I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of just kind of waiting how things play out. I think I think they do have Korean Zombie up there. I mean, I would like to see a guy like Yair Rodriguez, an exciting guy like that, get a
Hmm.
shot at it. Kind of a guy that he pretty much has a whole country behind him. So there's Max Holloway obviously is still right there. He defended his title many times, so he deserves it. But there's all those guys at the top. But I mean, my goal is to get there, and I'm working on it now. And it starts May 9th against Bryce Mitchell.
Hmm. And how many times do you see yourself fighting this year? Because I mean, with the pandemic going on, it's really hard to say how much
Yeah.
events that they're gonna put on. But
Well, as long
how
as things
like.
are going, yeah, as long as things are going as planned. I mean, Dana's promising us that we're all going to be able to fight 3 or 4 times this year. So, this will be, a big start for me, and then hopefully I can get a quick turnaround. They're going to be throwing lots of shows to do a lot of makeup work for the shows that we missed. So, if I'm the guy ready, I'm in shape. I mean, after this fight, I'm still going to be in great shape. I would love to do a quick turnaround within the next month or a couple weeks after, and
Mhm.
get right back in there and just keep climbing to the top. So. I'm healthy now, so as long as I'm healthy after the fight, I'm gonna keep the ball rolling and keep racking up these wins.
Hmm. And one last question for me. Our mutual friend Dustin Lampros says that you're
My
like an
guy.
awesome. He says that you're like an awesome cook, that you went to college for culinary. But
Yep.
watching Tough 27, Bryce Mitchell was like a sous chef on there, and he cooked some steak on there. But who would win in a cook-off between you and Bryce Mitchell?
Oh, that's no doubt. I mean, that's easy work for me, man. He couldn't even compete. He's not even on my level. But first I'm gonna whoop his ass, and then if he wants to have a cook off after, then I can whoop his ass in that too. So then I'll get 2 L's after that. But yeah, definitely shout out to Dustin, man. Thanks for hooking it up always, and you know, get back to work, and you know, hopefully Dustin gets back in there soon too. You see him fight soon.
Yeah. And sorry, I forgot to ask. What's your signature dish?
I mean, I love cooking all different things. Right now, it's been like seafood and stuff because I'm on a super
Hmm.
strict diet. I've been dieting for months. But my go-to dish, like if I could eat anything, like one last meal would be, or make it, and what I make really well is chicken parmesan. Like, so I love
Oh
making.
yeah,
I come from an
yeah, that's
Italian
good.
family. I grew up as a little kid, you know, cooking with my dad. So, chicken parmesan is my go-to. You know, I think, you know, so can't wait to eat some of that after I win on May 9th.
Awesome, man. Well, I don't want to take any of your time from training, but I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. I really appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you too, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, I'll
Take
see
care,
you
all right?
later.
All right, later, brother.